Well, oral storytelling is an African tradition. A museum in Washington is keeping up the Griot tradition alive and using it to encourage children to read more about Africa. Saskia de Melker has more.
People understand through stories. People remember things through stories.
Diane Macklin is the resident storyteller at the Smithsonian National Museum of African Art.
I feel that it's a gift to be a part of a tradition of storytelling that is more than just entertainment. It's storytelling as a means to communicate. It's storytelling as a means to connect and to bring people together and to lift people up.
For centuries, stories have been shared as a way of entertaining, transmitting knowledge, and passing on values from generation to generation. The Smithsonian's Let's Read About Africa program uses lively storytelling to teach children.
We want them excited about literature, and we want them excited, of course, about Africa. What better way to do that than through a story? It's a brilliant idea to incorporate all the different storytellers for this program. So you have the storyteller who's created these images, you have the storyteller who's written these beautiful words, and then you have the storyteller who's speaking the words and giving them some life and adding the audience in, and that's part of that griotic style.
Students from across the district travel to the museum to hear Macklin's stories. Promoting literacy is a main goal of the program, which combines the rich oral tradition of Africa with the written and visual elements of a narrative. The book's pages are projected onto a screen, while Diane uses hand movements, lyrical voices, and facial expressions to tell the story. Deborah Stokes works with Macklin at the museum.
It's meant to promote literacy, to introduce vocabulary, to really reinforce reading skills for children. Diane does call and response, she does voices, she does questions to get them thinking about what the next page is going to say. All these really, I think, incorporate into an environment where children feel that love of learning.
By using a dramatic and dynamic style of storytelling, Diane has been called a contemporary griot. In West Africa, griots have been the central figures in the rich oral tradition across the continent. A griot is many things: a storyteller, historian, musician, and the keeper of his or her people's traditions. Griots perform at celebrations, rituals, and give accounts of community events. The griots of today, like Diane Macklin, share stories and proverbs of their ancestors to younger members in the community.
There's another term for griot is joli, and it means someone who is the keeper of the culture, someone who is, it's almost like a living library that knows the history going back as far as people started to walk upon that earth, knows the land, when the storms come, when the rains come. So it's someone that knows everything about what it means to live in a particular place.
Stokes believes that Let's Read About Africa gives young people the inspiration and resources to learn more.
It drives them to look at other books that they might want to read, giving them an environment where they feel comfortable and excited and they participate in the storytelling.
In addition to literacy, another primary goal of the program is teaching children about Africa. The program highlights African authors and their tales. A component of the program is the Africa Book Club, where students are given reading lists and are rewarded as they read more books.
Because some people think of Africa as Africa, one place, and they don't think about the richness and the diversity of that entire continent.
We want them to learn some African words. We want them to learn about diversity in the world and to respect diversity. We're teaching tolerance here about that in this program, that they learn about places that they probably will never go to, but they can travel there through these stories and through these books.
Let's Read About Africa gives griots like Diane Macklin a place to continue to share their gift with generations to come. Saskia de Melker, VOA News.